I have learned so much in the last 2 to 3 years coding with AI that I feel obligated to share it with you. It all boils down to this very simple mantra. I really don't delay stuff, I deploy code. I know it sounds cringy, but there's actually a hidden meaning behind it. In here lies the full strategy I use to deploy, or no, vibe code full stack apps. I urge you to memorize this. I really don't delay stuff, I deploy code. Seriously, memorize it. By the end of this video, you'll be able to go from idea to celebration really quickly, and I want to show you how. The first step is to start off with an idea. Sometimes it's the very hardest part, but I'm sure that if you're watching this video, you already have one. So we'll leave it at that. I want to take some time to talk about requirements though, because that's very underrated these days. I don't see people doing this with vibe coding at all. I don't know if you already know this, but anytime people start with a software project, they always create these documents to prepare themselves for what they're about to do. In our case, we want 3 specific documents: product requirements, technical requirements, and UI requirements. Now this is going to come in handy later, you'll see. The thing is, context is king here with AI. The more data you can feed in Cursor or ChatGPT or Claude or whatever, the better your software is going to be. This is pretty logical. With product requirements, we want to talk about what our app is going to do. With technical requirements, we're going to talk about how the app was built. And with UI requirements, we're going to talk about how our app looks like. Simple. But this wouldn't be a Neil video if I didn't show you how to do it very quickly. Just to show you, this is a technical spec doc, okay? A technical requirements doc. It goes really in depth. But instead of actually building this out, I'm going to show you a very quick way to do this. Okay, so we're in Cursor, okay? We're in a folder called Thesis. This will work with ChatGPT or whatever. Let's say we're going to build the following app. We want to allow influencers to create a shareable link to send out to all their fans so that whenever they do Q&A sessions, they can just simply write it in and send it through, instead of having one link for YouTube, one link for Twitch, one link for Instagram, etc. Okay? Very simple, right? Now what I'll do is I'm going to go here in my AI of choice, and I'm going to click on dictation. All right? I'm going to speed up through all the bullshit so that you don't get stuck hearing all this shit, but I'll pause at the right moments. Okay, so as you can see now, it has pasted my dictation stuff here. I'm gonna go for thinking because it's pretty good. So we're gonna send it in, and then now it's gonna create it. Look, you're probably new to this whole vibe coding thing, right? So we're waiting for the cursor to load, right? Okay, so I would really recommend, if you don't already know how to code, please go here to fullstackopen.com. This has taught me everything I needed to know. And I'm talking about 2021, 2022, something like that. And it goes through everything from the basics to server stuff to testing to this is basically all you need to become a full stack developer. And this goes really technical. I mean, you can go as deep as you want, but I'd really recommend it. Shout out. And they're not sponsoring this video, so yeah. So it looks like they're done with the PRD. So this stands for product requirement document. Okay. So let's see what they did here. Overview, audience, management, whatever. Okay, this looks good. This looks fine, but it's way too basic. But I like this though. This UI requirement stuff. This looks great. See, I didn't even think about this shit, but it did it for me. It's so nice. So very nice. Great. So it actually designed a technical spec doc, which is super interesting to see. Okay, you can see all the routes here, for example. This is great. This is exactly what we need. And it also included the schema, which, fuck it, let's just go right now and talk about it. The next part of the whole process is identifying your architecture. Okay, the first thing we need to do is define our database and our schema. Now remember the PRD and the technical requirement docs that we just created? Now this is going to come in super useful. They already wrote the specification right here. But what we really need to know is how to use them. If you don't already know what a database and schema is, it's basically the data model underlying your entire app. Your startup basically looks like this, okay? This is your architecture. You have a client right here. This can be an iPhone app, a web app or whatever, right? A user interface, right? Another word for it is user interface. You have this, and it interfaces with your system. This is your entire backend. We have your database and your schema, and we have your servers. Your servers, they interact with the database. All right. And because your front end also interacts with your servers, your front end will also interact with your database. So this is the actual root of your application. So you need to get really good at understanding this. There's this really cool article that explains it very nicely. I'll link it below in the description. You can check it out and read up on it. But this is very important when you try to create your application. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new folder and we're going to call it specs. And we're going to put our files right in there. Now we have this folder called specs right here, okay? We're going to bring up our cursor right here and we're going to say this. We're going to tell cursor to look at specs, okay? And what we're going to do is create a document called models.txt and state exactly in detail how we are going to use and interface with our database in Schema. Also, make this very real, relationships, etc. In order for us to reason about it. And now this is important because you want to understand the actual data. I'm assuming you don't have that much experiences with databases and schema design. For the experts out there, this is obvious for you, okay? And now here we have this. Study this. Study database and design. Database design and schema design. You need to. The next part of this journey is going to be the UI. Now that we have the database and schema stuff defined, we're going to work our way through to creating the actual user interface. To do this, we're going to need our schema that we just defined, aka this model.txt right here. We're also going to be using our UI docs, our PRDs, and our tech spec doc. Okay? This is where it comes in handy. I don't know if you know, but there's this website called v0.dev. If you don't know already, check it out. You can create beautiful UIs using this. Okay? So now, this is the magic. I'm going to actually just copy all of this shit and bring it here. Okay, look. I'm going to upload these files right here into V0. All of them. The files that we just created. And now I'm going to say, make it. Ideally, you need to go back and forth with your AI and tweak it as much as you need to. And then you just copy the code here or you create a GitHub repository or whatever. You do your thing. Now we get to something really important. The servers or the actual backend of your system. The servers represent the brain of your application. All the complex logic, the custom logic, sending emails, accepting payments, all of that stuff is done on the server. You know how applications have like logging in, signing up, right? Like all of that stuff that happens on the servers. Very important disclaimer, okay? Very important. I saw this article of this dude getting hacked basically by people because he didn't understand how he needed to secure his backend, which is very bad. Please, for the love of God, understand that the database and the servers need to be as secure as possible. Otherwise, you're going to end up like this guy. All right? He lost so much money because people saw his environment keys. They were literally stealing money from him, which is no bueno. You need to understand that every single thing that happens on the front end is public. People can see it. So what he did is that he took stuff that was supposed to be on here and he put it on here. This is supposed to be secure and not accessible by the public. Basically, he had some passwords on here that were visible on here in the front end, in the client side of things. Okay? So, which is really bad. That's not going to happen to you, okay? Let's check up on the on V0. How is it going? It's still going. You see, actually, this is amazing. Now that we gave it so much context, it just keeps going, which is exactly what we want to. By the way, there are many guides out there to help you start off in backend engineering, backend development. So take a look at this link. I'll put it in the description so you can go read up on this. Okay? Now that we're done with these two parts, okay, we have our basic architecture. We have our all the isolated components of our architecture. We need to do the next thing, iteration and integration. Now what this means is that you're going to go in Cursor. Once you have all the UI stuff in your Cursor IDE, in your repository, and you have the backend stuff in your Cursor repository as well as your database, etc., you're going to now integrate them. What you're going to do now is you're going to go back and forth with Cursor or ChatGPT or whatever until it's integrated and ready to go. Okay, and this is going to take some time. I'm telling you. For example, with this front-end stuff, it just failed. I had to tell it to fix it again. Okay, you need to do this constantly. And before you know it, you're going to end up with an MVP. This is exactly what we want in step 6, at the end of step 6, an MVP. It works on your machine. That brings us to the last part of this phrase. I really don't delay stuff, I deploy code. Okay, this is the deployment section. Now, deployment basically means one thing, making your code public. There are many ways to do this. There are actually 3 strategies that you can use. Number 1 is going with the very easy solution, which is Vercel, Lovable, and etc. Right? Like these new platforms that are out there. It's very easy, but it can work up in price. And they try. You know what these people do? These people, Vercel and Lovable, they basically lock you in. They make it so easy to use, but then you're basically forced to use their products forever. But if you're smarter, you can use the following, the next 2 solutions. Wait, actually, if you're just starting out, just use this for now. Use it, go ahead, deploy it. But as you get better in your engineering journey, you'll realize that there are way more options open for you. You can go the medium route and you can use services like Heroku and DigitalOcean, where they have like medium level price and medium level ease of use. You just need to like read their documentation and get used to it. For the really heavy hitters, right? If you have time, I would really urge you go learn cloud. So these are the 3 biggest cloud providers. You have AWS, Google Cloud, and you have Microsoft Azure, right? This is the exact opposite of Vercel and Lovable. They're not at all easy to use, but if you do it right, you can save a bunch of costs and actually pay as you go, like pay per use, which is super great. Lastly, you can also self-host, but that's like a whole skill in and of itself. You have to learn everything about server design, network design, etc. But if this interests you, I know for a fact that people pay a shit ton of cash for this. They call this DevOps. Like CI/CD, managing pipelines and shit. That's pretty much it. That's my whole workflow. Now it's time to celebrate. You start off with the idea, you generate a shit ton of requirements, then you build your architecture, then you go back and forth with your AI, fixing this shit until it matches with the requirements and it actually works. Then you make it public and you deploy it for people to see. I know this is a very high level overview, but this is actually what I do behind the scenes anytime I want to launch a new app. And trust me, this shit is going to take a lot of time for you to learn, but I'm sure you'll get used to it. Remember, I really don't delay stuff. I deploy code. That's the most based shit that you can remember. Let's see what the V0 shit is up to. It's still going. While this is going, let me take this minute to talk to you. Okay? Look, this vibe coding world is very, very dangerous. Of course, you can have a bunch of results right away, but at the other hand, you also have this need to make sure everything is secure. Otherwise, you will fuck up. You will fuck up. But it's your job to fix that. I hope I can help out with that. There's a link below in the description. If you need any help, hit me up. I'm always here to help. By the way, subscribe to my second channel. There's nothing on here, but there will be by the time you watch this. The YouTube algorithm is really tough these days, and I don't want to risk saying some stupid shit and getting everything lost. I'm going to be covering a bunch of shit, from esoteric concepts from ancient history and how that relates to, coding software. I know, weird, but apparently there's a lot to be read and learned. But beware, I'm going to get really offensive on this channel. So if you want to subscribe, let me know. Regardless, thank you very much for watching this video. Let's check. Is this working or no? Dude, this shit's still working, man. I'm basically treating it like a slave, dude. It's really funny. So yeah. Dude, listen. I want you to actually use these things and build good software. Because at the end of the day, that's what we're about, right? Like you and me, we want to create software that is actually useful for the world and not useless. Like TikTok, you know what I mean? And Cornhub, you know what I mean? Bullshit. Now that we have these tools, I've been talking about this AI shit for a really long time. Check it out on my channel. 2023, dude. And I've been using this shit since 2022. It blows my mind how we have access to these tools. They're basically free. I mean, okay, maybe you need to spend $100 to get the best of the best tools, like all of them, right? V0, ChatGPT, Cursor, etc. But dude, you have these tools at your disposal, and I want you to go use them, man. Seriously, we're gonna build great software. I genuinely believe in that. So yeah, man, listen, life is a gift given by the gods to make a proper use of it. I'm gonna check you in the next video, and I hope we can be friends. All right, take it easy, man. Love you. Take care. Bye.